The world is governed by different personages from what is imagined by those not behind the scenes. Woodrow Wilson said, "Some of the biggest men in the United States in the field of commerce and manufacture are afraid of somebody, are afraid of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so perverse, that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it." A short look into Hitler and his SS Nazi scientists. Dr. Joseph Mengele was the lead Nazi SS programmer. He was a Grand Master within the Illuminati. What Hitler and the Nazi scientists discovered was so amazing and profound, even they had a difficult time believing it. It was discovered that the monarch butterfly genetically remembers where it comes from, and that certain genetic information is passed on from generation to generation. This is a key discovery. It is also why the name monarch was chosen. So, in human study, all they needed to do was find parents who had been generationally abused and use their offspring. They found that generational sex abuse victims had a 46% higher acuity rate than normal children, which also gave the victims a greater ability to disassociate or mind fragment easily by nature. Dictionary definition of acuity: sharpness, acuteness, keenness, acuity of vision and mind. So people, children included, who have been sexually abused when young are extremely aware of their surroundings. They have the sense of foresight more so than the average person. This is very useful to their programmers and handlers. This one very particular aspect of mind control helped bring about the Project Paperclip and MK Ultra to the United States of America. Senate Bill 3061. (522/2008) introduced William Wilberforce Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act of 2008. It amends the law of Human Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 to direct the Secretary of State to establish within the Department of State and Office to monitor, control, and combat human trafficking. Did you see it? Did you notice the specific word? Reauthorization Act of 2008. Link to this page and read exactly who they're interested in helping. It doesn't say much about the American children. And here is the link. If you read this bill, you will see who is protected, who authorizes the protection. But why would a bill already in place have to be reintroduced? With that information in mind, let's look at some of the political figures and their arrest records. Republican U.S. Justice Department official John David R. Atchison, 53, an assistant to the U.S. attorney from the Northern District of Florida, has been arrested on suspicion of traveling to Detroit over the weekend to have sex with a 5-year-old child. Republican City Council John Bryan killed himself after police began investigating allegations he had molested 3 girls. Republican Congressman Mark Foley abruptly resigned from Congress after sexually explicit emails surfaced showing him flirting with a 16-year-old boy. Republican Chairman of Oregon Christian Coalition Lou Beers confessed to molesting a 13-year-old girl. Republican Party leader Bobby Strumbo was arrested after having sex with a 5-year-old boy. Here is a link of many, many more names of people within the government who are pedophiles. So tell me, how on earth can the same people who make the laws enforce them if they themselves are breaking them? Children are being used, tortured, and abused in order to fund covert operations and classified government ops. This is one of the very important reasons to take children and put them into the program. Very rich people will pay very high prices for these children, for using and abusing children to satisfy their grotesque appetites without any repercussions whatsoever. Programming is terror abuse, satanic ritual, sexual abuse, near death such as suffocation, near drowning, electroshock, threats, drugs, isolation, food and sleep deprivation, which eventually brings about total control. This programming is usually started from infancy on into adulthood. During the programming, keywords, phrases, colors, sounds, music, even certain jewels of certain colors will put the victim in a state of hypnotic suggestion. They will then carry out the orders of their handlers without question. One victim of MKUltra, Bryce Taylor, claims her handler was Bob Hope, but her programmer was Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger programmed her with government mind files, turning her into a human computer, in order to target individuals around the world that they wanted to use, control, or manipulate. By sexual encounters and then blackmail, and then by passing and receiving messages, one of which was George Bush Sr. Another was Ronald Reagan, an alleged pedophile, Richard Nixon, Hillary and Bill Clinton, George Bush Jr., and of course Dick Cheney. This is the end of part 2. Thank you for listening. Part 3 will be coming very soon. Thanks again.